All right. Okay. And we're going to start on our backs this morning. Get my chair to sit where it needs to sit. Be sure to have your block and your strap nearby. They're pretty helpful for some of our poses. We may or may not use them, but it's nice to have them there if you feel like you need some support. And then once you get down on your back, walk your feet out to the edges of your mat and then reposition your body so you're right directly down the center of your mat. And take a couple breaths. You can leave your feet there on the outside of your mat, or you can walk your feet in line with your hips. And today, let's start with our hands resting underneath our ribs. And then just feel the rise and fall of your belly and your ribs as you inhale and exhale. Some of us tend to breathe more into our bellies, and some of us tend to breathe more into our chests. So just notice what happens in your body as you breathe in and out. Now we're going to slide our hands down to our sides. So let the palms of your hands gently press into the sides of your ribs. So we're not pushing. There's just a pretty good connection there. And now as we breathe in and out, we're going to breathe into our side bodies. So as you inhale, expand your ribs out to the sides. And then as you exhale, gently press your ribs back in. And then slide your hands back up underneath your ribs, relax your arms. Just take a couple of natural breaths. And now we're going to do one more breathing exercise. Take your right hand to your lower belly, somewhere around your belly button. Take your left hand up to your chest. Just take a couple of natural breaths. And now we're going to do 3-part breathing. That just means we're breathing 1/3 into the lower belly. So as we inhale, it's 1/3 of the inhale to the lower belly, 1/3 middle, 1/3 upper, and then a complete exhale. Everything moves out at the same time. So when you're ready, let's start by inhaling 1/3 of the breath, lower belly, middle belly, upper chest, and then exhale all at once. And again, in 1/3 lower, 1/3 middle, 1/3 chest. Exhale completely. We're going to do that 3 more times. 1/3 lower belly, 1/3 middle, 1/3 upper. Exhale. See if you can do that 2 more times on your own. After your next exhale, release your arms out to the sides and take a couple breaths, just natural breaths. And our first stretch today is bringing the right knee up but holding on with the left hand. So reach your left hand over to your right knee, pull it up toward your chest. Your right arm is passive. And just pause here. And now release, and then we'll just switch sides. So your left arm comes down onto the floor, left knee comes up, right hand holds on. And then release. Bring both arms out in a T position with your palms facing up. Reposition your low back if you need to. We're going to get ready for bridge pose next. So you see me walking my heels up towards my bottom. So you want a really tight squeeze here behind your knees. Pressing into your feet. Lifting your spine off the floor. Maybe 3 or 4 inches, not too high. Just take a couple breaths. And then slowly lower down. Relax. Keep your feet where they are, though. We're going to do that 2 more times. Let's do that 3 more times. We're going to change our arm position each time. Okay? When you're ready, press into your feet. Lift up a little bit higher this time. And then turn your palms so they're facing down and underneath your low back. So you leave your palms on the floor this time. And then slide your hands back out and lower back down. Keep your palms on the floor. Take a breath or 2. And then again, lift up into bridge pose. Slide your hands underneath your back. And this time, if you like, interlace your fingers underneath your back. You might need to lift up a little higher and then press your arms and your hands down towards the floor. Feel your biceps, feel your shoulders, feel your chest. And now let's release again. Turn your palms so they face up again. Relax. And now before we come into our last bridge pose, we're going to slide our arms up overhead. You can keep your palms facing up, backs of your hands on the floor, or you can create steeple hands if you like. So just maybe start with your hands on the floor and then lift up into bridge pose and see if you like that extra stretch by creating steeple hands and then pressing your index fingers straight up towards the wall behind you, whatever's behind you. One more breath. And now bring your palms together overhead. Inhale as you lift your arms up into the air. Exhale, lower down. Let your hands rest underneath your ribs and relax. And now let's bring both knees up towards our chest. And you can just stay here, just holding on to your knees, or if you like, you can rock side to side. And our next position is going to be sitting. So take your time, rolling over onto your side, using your top arm to help yourself up and lifting up into a sitting position, into easy pose with your legs crossed. And if that's not comfortable, you know you can stretch your legs out. Just get settled here. So one thing that helps if you're having issues with your one side or the other of your hip, if you have two blocks, if you're having trouble with both sides, you'll need two blocks. But let's say it's my right hip. You can put the block underneath your leg like this, and that helps to support that hip. Okay, that's one use for that block. And let's get settled here. Take a couple breaths. And now we're going to turn towards the right thigh. So just turn your torso towards your right thigh. Bring your belly closer to your thigh and pause right there. You can have your hands on the mat or on your thigh. So right now we're stretching out the left lower back down into your left hip, down all the way to your left knee. So your block might come in handy for this too. Take a couple breaths. One more breath. And of course, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So first, let's lift up to neutral. Excuse me. If you're using the block, move it to your left side. Then turn your torso toward your left thigh and come down towards your left thigh. Belly towards your thigh. And now notice if you have any new sensations on the right side, because sometimes one side is tighter than the other. You may feel this in a different part of your back or different part of your leg. So really, we're just checking things out right now. We're just noticing where the tight spots are. And we're also sort of easing into our stretches. One more breath. And then lift yourself back up to neutral. We'll do one more stretch here, and then we'll do some spinal rotations. So the block, if you're using the block, bring it in front of you. If you're not, your hands can be on the floor. And all we're doing is hinging at the hips and coming down towards both thighs. So most likely you're going to feel this down the center of your low back. One more breath. Now with your hands either on your thighs, the floor, or the block, use your arms to lift yourself up. And now we're going to move into spinal rotations, putting all of that together. So turn to the right and bring your body down towards your right thigh, towards the front, then the left, and then back up. And you might imagine your chin is leading the way down to the right, down to the front, up on the left side, and around again. And then see if you can inhale as you come up and exhale as you come down. So we're moving slowly and mindfully today. Ideally, this is how we approach our yoga practice every time, is slowly and mindfully. We're not in a hurry. We're not competing with anyone, and we're not even competing with ourselves. We're just being where we are right now, just accepting where we are right now, moving within our comfort zones. One more time in this direction. And then when you come up to neutral again, pause and reverse. Chin leads the way to the left, to the front, to the right, and back up. And we're exhaling down and inhaling up. We're doing 8 on each side. Two more times. And then bring yourself back up to neutral. Relax. If you're using your block, you can put your block off to the side. Maybe your knees are ready to straighten out. Go ahead and straighten your legs out. Give your legs a little rub. All right, let's keep our legs straightened out in front of us and point our toes down towards the floor. We're going to do a little chest opener next. So bring your arms around behind your back, and you can have your fingertips on the floor or your palms, whatever feels right. Squeeze your shoulder blades, lean back slightly, and lift your chest. So your head is kind of in neutral. You can move your head freely right and left. You don't want to let your head drop back. That's not helpful. That's not helping anything. So what you want to focus on is squeezing your shoulder blades and lifting your chest. Pointing your toes down. One more breath. And now start to relax from the shoulders down, bringing your chest back to neutral, releasing your body forward, releasing your legs and your feet. And just let yourself kind of fall forward. Don't worry about your posture. You can use your block if that helps. Just let your back round and let your head drop down. And now let's come back up to neutral. We're going to do a spinal twist next. So today we're going to do our spinal twist in conjunction with butterfly pose. And so it's a half butterfly, bringing your right foot into your left thigh. Your right knee is outside. You're still sitting up tall, and you can flex your left foot. That just adds another little layer to your effort here. And then we're just simply twisting to the right. Block is helpful again. Behind your back if you like. Something to put your hand on. You're twisting from the waist. You're sitting upright and twisting from the waist. One more breath. And now before we come out of our twist, let's just turn our heads to the left. So turn your head to the left and maybe look down toward your left foot. A little stretch for your neck. And then bring your head back to neutral. Bring your torso back to neutral. Straighten out your right leg and rub your legs again. We're easing into this. Easy morning flow. Some might say it's not easy all the time, but you know, we can find the ease. So now bend your left knee, bring your left foot inside your right thigh, flex your right foot, and then twist to the left. And when you're in a twist, you can turn your head in the direction of the twist if you like, or you can keep your head in neutral. Sometimes your neck just doesn't feel like moving that far, and that's okay. Yoga is all about awareness, paying attention, and honoring what your body needs. All right, when you're ready, turn your head to the right, so you're looking down towards your right foot. One more breath. And now release your head first, then release your torso back to neutral. Release your left leg down, rub your legs one more time. And then we're going to come onto our hands and knees next. So check your position here. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. And then just let your hips start to move side to side. Slowly and mindfully again. So you may feel some new sensations as you move side to side. The next time your hips come to the left side, pause there and then turn your head to the right. So you're stretching out your left side. And now reverse. So press your hips to the right, turn your head to the left. And then on your next inhale, bring your whole body back to neutral. Take a breath or two. We're going to do some cats and cows next. So starting with a cat pose, tuck your tailbone, round your back, and let your head drop down. One more breath. And then to come into cow pose, we start the movement at our tailbones. So start to lift your tailbone up, and as you do, your belly will drop down, your back will arch. You can press your shoulder blades down your back and lift your head, and just feel that nice arch in your spine. And on your next inhale, come back to neutral. And let's rest in either child's pose or hero pose, sitting on your heels, or if it's comfortable for you, just standing on your knees. So we want to give our wrists a little break here, because we're going to be coming right back down onto them. So whatever feels good to you, however you like to rest, take a couple breaths in your resting pose. And then when you're ready, come back up onto your hands and knees. And now we're going to put those two poses, two movements together. Remember, we were going side to side with our hips. First, we're going to turn that side to side movement into circles, and then we're going to add cats and cows. So push your hips out to the right and start to move your torso forward, then hips to the left, and then hips towards your heels. So we're just starting with a circle here, no big deal. But you can feel your core muscles start to work as you do this. Feel your belly pull in Feel your sides, feel your back. And then you might naturally start to round and arch your back. So as you come down, your back can arch. As you come up, your back can round. So we're adding cats and cows to our circles. Rounding and arching. And it doesn't have to be big movement. You can feel it. Stretching your whole back, your whole sides, your whole belly out. Rounding and arching as you make these circles. One more time in this direction. And then we'll come back up to neutral. And first move to the left and then come down towards your heels as you arch your back, to the right as you round your back, and then back to the left. Just breathing naturally. Let's do that one more time. And bring yourself back to neutral again and find your resting position. And rotate your wrists again if you like. Now we're going to come back onto our hands and knees, but if you like, you can come onto your forearms. If this is starting to bother your wrists, you can come onto your forearms. We can do all these poses on our forearms. So your choice is hands and knees or forearms and knees. And we're just going to come into a simple calf stretch to start with. So stretch your right foot back. Press your heel back behind you. So your toes are curled. You're stretching the bottom of your foot and the back of your leg. Most likely we're going to stay on the mat today. We probably won't be standing up. I don't think we're going to have time to do any standing poses, but this is good. It's good to stay on the mat sometimes and just really focus on your stretches, stretching out those muscles. Now your right leg is back, your foot is already flexed. So keep your foot flexed as you lift your leg about 6 to 8 inches off the floor. And now keep your foot flexed as you bend your right knee. And then release. Same thing on the left side, starting with a calf stretch. And down to your forearms if this is bothering your wrists. One more breath. And again, keep that left foot flexed as you lift your leg 6 to 8 inches off the floor. And then keeping your foot flexed, bend your left knee. And release. And rest again. One more breath. All right, and I hesitate to say it, but we're coming back to hands and knees. So take a break anytime you need to. You don't have to do every single thing. We don't have to always do things the same way. But today we're going to try our thread the needle, but we're going to move in and out of thread the needle. So we'll start by putting our weight on our right hand and lift your left arm up, and let's just pause right there as if we were in triangle pose. So left arm is up in the air. You've got a nice twist going on, and just pause right there. And now 5 times we're going to be moving with our breath. So as you exhale, bring your left arm down and press to the right. And then inhale, lift back up where you started. And then exhale back down and press your arm to the right. 3 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down and to the right. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. This time when you bring your left arm down and to the right, just stay right there. Let your head come down if that's comfortable. Feel that nice stretch in your upper back. And then when you're ready, press yourself back up onto your hands and knees. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on the other side now. Putting the weight on your left arm, left hand. Inhale, right arm up. We'll hold this for 5 breaths. Now on your next exhale, move your right arm down and to the left. Then inhale back up. And exhale back down. 3 more times. The next time your right arm comes down and to the left, pause, stay there. Let your head come down if that's comfortable. One more breath. When you're ready, press into your left hand and lift yourself back up onto your hands and knees. Now we're going to do one more pose here from hands and knees, and that is downward facing dog. So I like to get to down dog through plank. So you can come back to that calf stretch with both legs. You can pause and plank if you like, and then press up into downward facing dog. One more breath. And then bring your body into plank. You can pause here if you like. When you're ready, drop your knees. Keep your elbows in as you slowly lower down. And then lift just your head and chest. So now your hands and your arms and your wrists are free. They're not doing any work. It's your back that's doing the work. One more breath. And now press back into child's pose for a few breaths. And then our next position is going to be sitting with our legs out in front of us. And we're going to need our straps. So go ahead and take your time getting settled with your legs out in front of you and with your strap. So we're just really stretching out today. We'll be wrapping the strap around the bottoms of our feet. Just hold on loosely to start with until you feel nice and settled. And then flex your feet. And then bring the strap together into one hand. Doesn't matter which hand. So now you have a V shape with your strap. You're sitting up tall, your core muscles are engaged. So this is a modified version of staff pose. And then we're going to add in a forward fold. So take your free hand, bring it around in front of the hand that's holding on to your strap. Lean forward just a little bit, just a tiny bit, not a lot. And then repeat, walking the other hand forward, lean forward a little bit more. You're trying to keep your back flat for this one. Sometimes we keep our backs nice and straight, nice and flat. And sometimes we round our backs. Today we're keeping our backs flat. And if you're comfortable, do that one more time. You'll know when to stop. Your back will let you know that's as far enough. One more breath. And then start to walk your hands back towards your body, releasing the strap. Put the strap off to the side. And now we're going to lay down on our backs. You may want to use your strap again in your cool down, so keep it where you can grab it. Go ahead and come down onto your back. And again, walk your feet out to the edges of your mat and position your body so you're right in the center of your yoga mat. There's a nice little side effect of this, doing it this way, is that you create a boundary for yourself. It's like your yoga mat becomes your sacred space. And if you're right in the center of that sacred space, you feel safe. You know that what you're doing here is beneficial and you're not going to do anything to hurt yourself. You're taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. Because you've created boundaries for yourself. You've created an edge. Now, once you've come back to center and you feel yourself kind of relaxing, let's just move right into windshield wipers. And they can be wide or not wide. They can be fast or slow. Just do what your body needs right now. All right, let's come back up to neutral. You want your feet in line with your hips, and this is where we might use our straps for a figure 4 pose. So take your strap. If you like using your strap for figure 4, if you figure 4 is fine, you don't need the strap, don't worry about it. If you're using the strap, wrap it around the back of your left thigh. Then cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And use the strap to lift your legs up towards your belly. So we're not pulling on the strap. It's just kind of there to give us a little extra length So we're not reaching through and putting a whole lot of effort into holding onto our leg. One more breath. And now keep that strap on your left thigh as you lower your left foot down. Keep your leg crossed. We're gonna hold on to this strap and let our legs move side to side into a twist. So you're twisting to the right, sort of like windshield wipers added to the figure four. And then twisting to the left. And do that 2 more times on each side. Still holding on to the strap. It's not necessary. We just don't want to lose it. We don't want it to fall and have to go looking for it. And when you come back to neutral again, uncross your right leg and switch sides. So now the strap comes around behind your right thigh. Cross your left ankle over. And then bring your legs up towards your chest for figure four pose. So again, we're just holding on loosely to the strap. If your legs only come halfway up, that's okay. That's your edge. That's your boundary. You want to be close to your edge, but not that close. Not so close that if you imagine standing on the edge of a of a canyon, you don't want to be so close that you lose your balance and fall over. So we kind of use that image here in our yoga practice. One more breath. And then release your right foot back down, holding onto the strap. And then let your legs move side to side 3 times. And then eventually bring yourself back to neutral. Now you can release the strap, put it down beside you, uncross your legs, reposition your back. You may want to bring your knees up to your chest again. You might like to rock side to side or find a happy baby pose. That always feels good to your back at the end. You could actually use your strap for this too if you wanted. Bring it around behind your thighs. Stretch your arms up overhead. Straighten your legs out. There's so many little stretches you can do right here at the end. And sometimes your body just starts to move, and that's okay. Our bodies, I like to say that our bodies have brains. It's not just the brain in your head, your whole body has an awareness. So sometimes we got to get our thoughts out of the way. Get this brain up here that does all the thinking out of the way and just kind of move with the intuition of your body. And eventually you're just going to feel like it's time to rest. We're going to take a minute or 2 at the end just to rest. Do nothing else but breathe. Now, when you feel ready, start to deepen your breath. And let that be a signal to your body to start moving just very little bits at a time. Maybe it's your fingers or your wrists or your toes, your feet. Maybe your head is ready to move side to side, and you can just sort of let this move through your body. Slowly bringing yourself back, bringing your awareness back. And then eventually coming up into a sitting position. One more time in this easy pose, and then we'll rub our hands together. Remembering the meaning of Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. And so that's how we end our class, opening our arms out to the sides, sending out all that positive, grateful energy out into the room that we're in. And then inhaling up overhead and exhaling down to our hearts and bowing forward. Namaste. Thank you all for being here today. You have a good afternoon.